Good morning. I'm going to try to keep this a little shorter. I spoke with Pastor during the week, and this was basically some of the miracles that I went through. I'm going to share with you a few of them. So after church or at any time you see me, I would love to share more of my story with you. I was telling Pastor that I could do this temple talk every single Sunday. I have another miracle to talk about. As Pastor said, my name is Doug Ravello, and thank you for inviting me to speak this evening, and thank you for your prayers for my family and myself. I'd like, most importantly, to tell you why I am so grateful and why I'm so thankful to God. I am proof that God works. I should not be standing here. I should not even be alive today. I was given 6 months to live. There was 3 events that kind of happened, and I call them events or setbacks now because with my relationship with God, I no longer have fear in words such as cancer and other conditions. It's just a word to me now. The 3 events that I had in 2008 that further confirms God works. My daughter Grace had a condition known as RSD. My sister Phyllis had stage 3 colorectal cancer. And I had a cancerous tumor in my abdomen, and the doctor said I had about 6 months to live. If I did not have this relationship with God, I would have been completely paralyzed with fear. I'll start with my daughter Grace. Grace has reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It is a rare condition with no cure. It's a neurological condition that affects the limbs of the body. And in her case, it affected her left leg. And the pain, as the doctors explained it, we lived through it. It's a severe pain. She sometimes would only sleep an hour or 2 at night. She was in severe pain. And this went on for a couple of months. The doctors explained the pain as this severe burning, much worse than any break. The pain was worse than even if your arm was on fire. She also had lost a feeling and sensation from her knee down. And the other part of it is a thing called dystrophy, or atrophy. Her foot lost all flesh and muscle. It almost didn't even look like a foot. It turned this shiny blue color. To the touch, it was ice cold. But to her, it was a severe burning pain. At the beginning, the doctors had given us cortisone shots. She went on the mountain for over a year. She got a spinal nerve block and a TENS unit to try to just get her through the days, to almost try to live a normal teenage life. And it was a nerve stimulator that just kind of tricked the mind, tried to help her get through her day. Nothing worked. So doctors had prepared her and us for life with no sports, which really, at this point in our life, all we wanted was a normal teenage girl. She would never run, and walking was going to be difficult and painful, but we would get through it. And I kind of write a little note here. Children's Hospital Boston, and I write thank God. And I can't tell you how much I thank God. I thank God every single day. Thank God for Children's Hospital in Boston. They had a different approach and different treatments. Grace went in September of 2008 for the month of September. One of the therapies was mental therapy. And, at this time, Grace was going through confirmation class at Trinity Lutheran. And Grace would use her mind and refocus her pain. She meditates. And she would refer to Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, which was also a confirmation verse. And it's, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That verse has also become our kind of like family mantra. That's who we are. October 2008, Grace comes home. She continues to work on her RSD. And I call it like RSD exercise or therapy. And she, to this day, still does the therapy. At the beginning, it was taking her about 2 hours a day. And, to this day, she's kind of down to about an hour. Okay. Another event, or a setback, as I like to call it. This is a little easy to talk about because it's me. It's not something my family history, my sister has colorectal cancer. She's in her 40s. My grandfather passed at 52 of colon cancer. So I have to get colonoscopy, very important. And I must have scheduled 8, 9, 10, multiple colonoscopies. And each time I schedule it, it gets canceled. I have to go with Grace to go get a spine, she'll leave the hospital, etc. Finally, and actually one of them, was my doctor schedules it for August 29th. He can't make that colonoscopy, so he schedules it for September. But now my insurance, he doesn't carry my insurance in September, my insurance. So now, if I have an insurance company, they tell me basically, there's 2,000 people on Long Island that gives colonoscopies. Find another doctor. So I find another doctor. So we set my colonoscopy for November 7th. Hey, everything's great. The colonoscopy goes very, very well. So well that I actually want to go back. I want to go to work. I just said, oh, let's do this thing in the morning. I want to go to work. But Yvonne talks me out of it, and I don't go to work. And we have to know the doctor. I have his cell phone number. So everything's fine. I go home. I do blood work, etc. Yvonne and I have a nice lunch together. I continue to get this pain throughout the evening, and it just gets severe. And I just, always gas. I walk around the block. I continue to do things to kind of settle the pain. Well, around 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, right? I call the doctor, and I said, I can't. I'm sweating. I have a fever. I'm in incredible pain. He said, go to the hospital. Get a CAT scan. He goes, your colon looked perfect. I swear I didn't perforate it, but that you are showing signs that you might have perforated your colon. And time is of the essence. You have to get to the hospital immediately. No ambulance. Get yourself to the hospital. We get to the hospital. I'm sick. Thankfully, Hans is nurturing me. I'm vomiting. I'm just having a very difficult time. They CAT scan me, and we're waiting for the news. And the ER doctor comes in and he says, hey, I got good news and bad news. So it's kind of like, okay. I mean, I didn't like that when I was a kid and people said that to me, so it wasn't consistent. So, but he goes, hey, the good news is your colon's not perforated. And I'm like, oh, thank God. That's the worst possible thing that could have happened. My colon's not perforated. What's the bad news? What could be the bad news? The bad news is you have a mass in your pancreas and it doesn't look good. It's not good at all. Because you gotta get that taken care of, and you have to go to a pancreas specialist. He said, it's bad. He said, but your pain is gas. So let me give you another shot of morphine, you go home and relax. I said, I don't want any more drugs. I said, if this is just gas, I'll just deal with the pain at home. I go home. 2 hours later, the hospital calls. They rewrite the report, and my appendix had ruptured. So November 8th, that morning, Yvonne drives me back. I go, I have my appendectomy surgery. I start to recover, and kind of right here. If you know Sloan Kettering is a wonderful place, absolutely. Again, I thank God for Sloan Kettering every day. But I get an appointment with Sloan Kettering, which is in itself, as somebody last night said, that's a miracle, because it usually takes about 7 months to get an appointment there. I get an appointment with Sloan Kettering a few days after. I was still healing from my appendectomy surgery. Get another CAT scan. I have the doctors, this time I have a team of doctors, and we speak and we talk about, yes, it's confirmed I have a tumor on my pancreas. And I'm kind of like, it's cancer, it's not even, we don't biopsy this, they know it's cancer. So, but I have the radiologist who does this, and he says it's pancreatic cancer. And that's, it's a 4% survival rate. My surgeon believes it's this rare cancer called a GIST, gastrointestinal stromal tumor. And basically it's a tumor that kind of grows in the soft tissue and connects. I don't really understand the growth of the tumor. Again, this cancer has no cure, and it has, basically nothing works. Chemo doesn't work. Radiation is. They really don't have any survivors because there is people get this and they die. They get symptoms and they die. Sitting with the topics and my wife, she usually has a lot of questions, but for some reason we were kind of just sitting there, and he explained everything what he was going to do, and he said, "Do you have any questions?" And I didn't, and he kept pressing me for a question, and I said, "What do you trust you? I mean, this is what you do for a living. I'm not, I don't question people. This is your profession. You start and help." And so you had to have one question. He said, "Okay, do you believe in God?" And he says, "I do." He said, "You would be dead in 6 months. It is an absolute miracle that you are here today, and we're going to do this. Your cancer that I believe that you have," he said, "radiologist thinks you have pancreatic cancer." He goes, "I'm banking on your GIST. He said, with just, when you show symptoms, it's too late, you die. Okay. And he says also, if you don't have this colonoscopy, which triggers, he believes, my appendicitis, you die. He tells me also that the surgery is going to be very risky, but as he told me before, there's no medication, no radiation, nothing helps. The operation is the only thing that's going to help me. I have to tell you, before this, now you know, I've got November 10th to December 5th. I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for my life. I'm thankful for all my blessings. I thank God every day. I have a relationship with God, and I feel very, very comfortable that this could be it for me. I speak to my family, I speak to some friends, and I thank them. I even speak to, I don't know if he's here, so that's Gil, Milano, and I just kind of ask him to keep an eye on my kids, because I'm not really sure I'm going to come out of this. And I met Gil here at Trinity, by the way, and I call him my adult best friend. So I prepare myself, but I have to tell you, I'm at peace. I have no fear. Again, I have this relationship with God. I'm fine. December 4th comes, my kids are performing at a Christmas concert. It was pretty tough. I went to the concert, and I said goodbye to my kids. Crazy. Excuse me. Knowing that this could be the last time they see me. December 5th, 2008 comes. And by the way, I celebrate that day every year. It's a very special day to me. Ivana, my brother, walked me to Sloan Kettering. We spent the night in a hotel. I pray with them. I have a nun, really, what this is called, it's really cute. Her and I praying, and she wheels me in, and you know, the gurney's like this. She's praying, I'm praying. She's telling me she's going to California. When she gets back from California, she's coming back to visit me, and everything's going to be fine. I walk into this room. This is not like an appendectomy surgery. This room is the size of the largest gymnasium that you can imagine. There's about 20 or 30 people in scrubs. There were 8 surgeons, 4 anesthesiologists, and who's from New Zealand, who's from here, every doctor. Pretty neat experience. I say a quick prayer, and I go through what's known as a Whipple operation. And in lay terms, it's basically I'm reconnected in 7 different, so digestive is kind of connected in 7 different places. What do? They take out half my pancreas, half of my stomach, organs that I never even knew we had. They take out jejunum, duodenum, small intestine, large intestine. If you can imagine, when you digest food, you have about 7, I'll call hoses that help you digest food. Well, each one of them is now cut, resectioned, and re-put together. Yvonne calls my operation now, it's not just the Whipple, she calls it the super deluxe Whipple, because not only do I have everything here, my kidney is now also involved with this tumor, and so is my vena cava. So that's a resection of my vena cava, which actually poses some little complications, or as I call them, setbacks. Now this is December of 2008. Okay, so I did mention, you know, I had so many miracles that happened. I really don't have enough time to talk about them all. And every time I do this speech, I come up with another miracle, maybe I drop a miracle, just to shorten the speech. I'm fortunate, as you can see, and you can tell why I'm so thankful. You know, I'm not out of the woods. I get this operation. The reoccurrence is like very, very high, and it's not very good outcome. Diagnosis. It's like 70 or 80% that this is going to reoccur. But December of 2008, there's this drug called Gleevec that has been approved, and it actually shows significant results. It actually reduces the risk of reoccurrence. As a matter of fact, it reduces it so much that it's under like 5%. So here I am going from a 70 or 80% chance of this thing reoccurring December 2008 to now being on the medication that I currently take. It reduces my risk of this reoccurring. Again, another miracle. Such a miracle that there was a TV show that I'm not even, people are familiar with, it's called Dr. Oz. I was actually on Dr. Oz, really on nice man. this is another, I remember looking, basically each room that you were in is like an ICU room. I'm on the 16th floor of Sloan Kettering, which is known as the pancreas floor. And I remember I was in total resting, but my numbers showed that my pulse was 177 resting, my blood pressure was 195 over 95. But I was as calm as you could be. It was kind of an odd feeling. So I just kind of closed my eyes and I went deep in thought and deep in prayer. And I opened my eyes, which was amazing. My blood pressure, my pulse was now 120. It was a real nice feeling, actually. Again, it shows how God works. My pancreas was healthy. The cancer they took out, my pancreas was leaking. Pancreatic fluid is similar or more caustic than battery acid. So it was basically very toxic in my body, destroying my insides. I had infections. I'm about a 190-pound man. I'm now at about 130 pounds. I have, every other day I have all these, what I call these microscopes. I don't know what else to call them. They put tubes, drains, they do this, that, they open my abdomen, etc. I'm not going to get into the details of it. The doctor at one point asked me, how am I, because I couldn't sustain all the anesthesia, my body was too weak, how am I sustaining the pain? And they thought I had nerve damage. And I just said, I just kind of refocus. I focus on Philippians 4:13. I just get my strength from God. I have good days and bad days. Good days we try to get the kids in to see me. Bad days, for which I only have about a half hour. So I try not to even communicate because I need all my strength just to stay alive, I feel like. As it gets bad, or as I call them the dark days, Yvonne takes the kids and, well, the doctors, I think maybe we were to say goodbye. Yvonne kind of, she's a fighter, my wife. She fights with the doctors and kind of basically tells them that there's too many miracles. There's no way God's going to let him go. And she tells them that. And the only thing I know, it's kind of neat, my turnaround day, I didn't, this is December of 08. I told the doctors, I said, I don't want to be in the hospital on the 25th, but it was okay. That's my favorite day, is December 25th, and my second favorite day of the year is Christmas Eve. Well, miraculously, on the 24th, that was the day that my high fever went down, my pulse went down, my blood pressure went down. I was on the mends. Things would start to work. And I remember we celebrated Christmas and Christmas Eve singing Christmas carols in Sloan Kettering. And I remember Troy saying, I was able to muster up and apologize to him for this type of a Christmas, and him saying, this is the best Christmas ever. So, that was our Christmas in 2008. I continue to recover. And I will tell you, obviously I'm home. When I got home, the first thing I did, I started every day with prayer, and I thank God. Before my feet hit the ground, before I did anything in the morning, I pray. And I pray to God each and every day, and I'm very thankful and blessed. My relationship with God has helped me. My future is uncertain. I still take chemo to this day, and thank God again, another miracle Gleevec was made available. I had some setbacks and speed bumps. I was given full disability, but I was able to actually get back to work in 3 months. And I work currently still to this day, full time. I know whatever happens, God is there for me and my family. God works. I speak with cancer patients and people who face adversity all the time. They call me, people inevitably, unfortunately, know some people with adversities. And everybody wants to know with me, what's the secret pill? What's the silver bullet? What did you do? They don't understand. And I tell them, the truth of the matter is my relationship with God. I start every day being very fortunate and thankful. I said, that's it. I said, I don't have any secrets. There's nothing more than that. So now I'll give you a little how we are doing as a family. My recovery continues. Just to let you know how I'm feeling. I'm an outdoors type of person. That's our family. So less than a year after this, We went to Heavenly Mountain, California, and we snowboarded. I snowboarded. Had some setbacks on the mountain, had to take some breaks, but for the most part, got through 8 days of snowboarding every day. We surf, we do this, we do a whole bunch of things. In the summer of 2009, I entered a race. I swam across the Great South Bay, 5.5 mile swim, and I came in about 30th place, took about 3 hours. And kind of, there's so many things that happen. That they want you to stop every mile, take a water break. I was so meditating in prayer that I got to mile walk before, and my friend who was paddling for me, he said he was trying to get my attention. He couldn't stop me. He said, you need to drink water, you need to drink water. And I said, I got about 4 or 5 more miles to go. He said, you got a mile, the shore's right there. Again, God works. As for my sister, she continues to have minor setbacks. She's cancer free. And she enjoys her family and her life every single day. As for Grace, that's right here. Grace continues to do her RSD exercises, and she has her, we call them flare-ups, and she has her problems. But as Grace is now in 11th grade, Grace has just earned her 11th varsity letter. She's a 2-time all-league first-team cross-country runner, somebody who is not supposed to run. 3-time all-league winter track. She's a 3-year starter on varsity lacrosse, and she was awarded, not knowing this, just on her athletic, she was given the Unsung Hero Award for Suffolk County Girls Lacrosse. And in closing, Yvonne, Grace, and Troy had this surfboard I'm going to show you made, and it's got our family Bible here, so that's why. Troy and I just surfed last weekend, but so, you know, this is our family Bible verse. I love this verse. I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength.